Hi friends, welcome to Enlightened World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson and Teri Angel here for a meditation a day. Today we're doing a silent meditation. That means Teri and I are going to go behind the scenes and meditate together. We invite you to meditate right along with us. Teri's going to play you some beautiful music to meditate to, and after we've received messages from Spirit, we'll come back on and share with you what those messages are. We're so glad to have you here with us. Teri, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ruth. It's great to be here. Good morning, everyone. We will begin now.
Have a good meditation, friends. We'll see you soon.
Are you there?
I am here.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you had a productive meditative time, just as Ruth and I did. I'm hoping I'm able to be heard because I just got a message that the internet was unstable. Anyway, you all know the routine. Ruth and I sit with each other behind the scenes and see what comes forth from spirit. Today, they wanted to talk to us about being in sync. Being in sync, first of all, with yourself, and then that allows you to be in sync with others, and especially with what you want in life. How do you want your life to look? And Ruth had an interesting question. Can you be out of sync with your guides, with the angels, with the ascended masters? And yeah, even with God, we can be out of sync. We may not have that first and foremost because there's other stuff going on that distracted us and got our attention. So looking as the outside observer, what am I observing? Am I seeing that I have too much going on and I'm not able to focus? And so getting back in sync with priorities in my life is huge. So there was a lot that we talked about, staying present. When you stay present in the now, you're not projecting anything into the future that hasn't even happened yet. So that's where we started. Ruth, would you like to take it from there and share some things?
So, when we are thinking in the future and we're not being in the present, we're out of sync with ourselves. So, that was one thing that came through. But the importance of being in sync. I was telling Teri a situation I had with a loved one where we were not in sync, and the conversation got very askew very quickly because she was coming from one place, I was coming from another. We were not in sync. And we had to do some damage control around the conversation, which is so unusual for us. So it was really a good learning about being in sync with myself before I could be in sync with anybody else. Teri, they went into they actually had us work on a decree for ourselves, which was fascinating, about staying in sync with ourselves. And it was so we could then be better in sync with other people. But they touched on being in sync with the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. Teri, can you talk about that?
Yeah. So one thing that my guides and my angels always say to me is, you're not separated. We tend to think, oh, these bodies are like this one's over here, this one's over here, and they're not in one place. But we're the culmination of everything, our thoughts. So that would be the mental body. And it's interesting to ask the question, where did those thoughts come from? Or something comes up, where did that thought come from? So the 3D is us in our physical body. It's a physicality, it's survival, eating, drinking, sleeping, doing all the things that the physical body needs to be here on this planet. The other bodies are higher up on the fourth dimensional level. That is the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual bodies. So when we try to separate them, that's when we get a little confused, and it's like, where is that body? So just see it all. You're all in, you're all one, even though there's certain parts that can only be in the 3D, this physical body. I'm not going to move it over to Colorado to be with Ruth, but I can be with her mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So it's a hard lesson sometimes to really work through that. Yeah, we have a lot more than just what we see with our physical eyes. There's more to life than just this physical body. There's the three other whole entire bodies that run this machine called the human body. And I hope I made sense with that. I see it clearly, but sometimes it's like maybe it's a big stretch for some people to think that it's not that brain inside of our head that had that thought. It's coming from a higher realm.
So, Teri, how do we get in sync or stay in sync with our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies?
We become consciously aware. Being conscious that we are conscious sometimes takes us doing a little step back and observing. Just observe how am I acting in this human body and what's guiding those actions? Well, the thing that guides all of our actions are our belief systems. What do I believe? And our connection with our spirit being. So to get in sync, you really have to be aware. And what was that quote that I did from my meditation yesterday? I had lots of little nuggets, and one of them was awareness being aware of itself. So open your mind to that possibility that you can observe your own self. You can see the process of the thought that happens. Thoughts become words, and then words create things. So being aware is just being conscious, being open, not shutting down something because you don't understand it. But how can you consciously become aware that you didn't understand it? And do I want to understand it? So it's a lot of self-reflection. And Ruth and I have made a commitment to each other and to ourselves that we are going to sit silently in spirit for whatever amount of time each day and listen. And when I did it for the first time last night, it was so eye-opening. It was amazing to be the observer and just to listen to what's being said. And I love that. I love that we were guided, Ruth, to have that time for each other and to be able to share with each other what happens.
One of the parts about being in sync with yourself is also how you take care of your body. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you feeding your brain with? Where's your time going? What are you committing in your relationships, in your conversations? Just being in sync with you. Because if you're not in sync with you, you can't possibly be in sync with somebody else. One of the other interesting thoughts, Teri, was they had to sign the decree. And when I signed this decree, it was interesting because it wasn't my handwriting. It wasn't even a name I recognized. I wish I could have drawn out what it was because I said, well, Teri, this is so interesting. I don't know if this is a past life. I don't know if this is my soul signing this. I don't know. But the words I heard was signed by my entire collective self. Teri, can you talk about that?
Yes. So I fully believe that we have had more than just this lifetime. I've been there. I've seen it. And many, many, many people also can report that they have delved into their past lives and what that looks like. So again, not separating it is important. Knowing that we are that culmination, like Ruth said, of every experience, not just in this lifetime, but every experience we've ever had. And then it's a complete whole. Then we're not just saying, oh, when I was a farmer back in that lifetime, eons ago, that's who's signing it. Or that's who's driving this machine and speaking these thoughts. It's every lifetime. It's everything that we've ever experienced, thought, spoken, done. That is all of me. And I kind of like that thought, actually. To me, that's comforting that I have all of these experiences lifetime after lifetime, and it's right here, right now. And I can pull on any of those life experiences and see, how do I grow from here? How do I take it now into this new experience and really wrap my arms around who I am? And I think that's really what it means when we're finding out who we are. It's not like, what education do I have? What happened when I was a kid? It's more than that. It goes way beyond to who am I as an eternal spirit being. And that's what we are. We're just showing up this time with this bodysuit on, with this face and these words. But it is all of us. That happens when we're consciously aware that that's what it is. So staying aware, staying in sync, as we said, with ourselves means I'm not separating me out into little portions. I took it, it's like a soup. All of those lifetimes go into the soup, and then this is the result. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So really grounding.
Kind of like the soup.
Yeah. Really grounding into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there a Lily Tomlin movie, All of Me? Or something?
Yes, I encourage you to watch it because it's one of my favorites. So it's a comedy, and it's fiction, but based on beliefs that we can reincarnate, that our soul does eventually, if it wants to, if it has that desire, can take on another human experience. But it's really a cute movie. And I encourage everybody to watch it because I got a laugh out of it, and I got some food for thought out of it as well.
And then the last, the last message that Teri received was about a particular quote. You don't need to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Teri, what was that in relation to?
That's Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote. And I've seen several images depicted of stepping up on the bottom rung of a ladder, but you can't see where it's going. You can't see the top part of it. And what came out from that rabbit hole and that vision was, it's better to be at the bottom of the ladder you want to be on than at the top rung of the one you don't want to be on. So again, consciously aware, what do I want? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want my actions to portray to the world? Well, if I'm on the top of the ladder that I'm not in sync with, as far as being in alignment with my higher self, then that's not serving my whole purpose of why I'm here. So know yourself. Know what it is that brings a smile to your face, that makes your heart leap with joy, and follow that. Step up that ladder, and you'll find that when you get up there, I don't know if we ever reach the top, which is, I think we just keep climbing, but we have more joy in our lives. We have more peace and more contentment by being on that ladder that we're drawn to by our higher self. Climb the ladder. If you're on the one that's a struggle, that every bit of the way you're having to fight and gasp for air, maybe go back down. Ladders, you can go both ways on ladders. So go back down and just do some soul searching again. Sit in silence. I highly recommend that. just sit with no distractions. And Ruth, I had the same experience that I had in the past of sitting in silence. That first few moments, and sometimes it goes on for a bit, it's like, how do I do this? How do I shut out all those distractions? So the first few moments, I found myself reaching for the phone, like, oh, maybe I need to play some meditation music. Maybe I need something to inspire me while I'm sitting in silence. Well, silence means silence, okay? And when you can do that with nothing making any noise at all, then your body starts to relax, your mind relaxes, and your spiritual self is able to really connect, like plug in to that higher source. I highly recommend it. Even if you try it one time and you're like, no, this is not for me, at least you try. But I think if you give it the go and do put down anything that you might reach for, anything that would take you away from your thoughts and your downloads that are coming in from spirit, I think it'll be a beautiful experience that you want to repeat. And I know I'm loving it. I love my life. I love where spirit takes me with these journeys, and especially with you, Ruth. We've grown so much together in the things that spirit has led us to do. And this was definitely spirit led.
Well, we don't have any idea where that staircase is taking us. But every time we sit in meditation together, it's like, okay, maybe they'll show us another step. And they always do. Yeah. Well, Teri, thank you so much for being here. And friends, thank you for being here. So we wish you well as you sync up with yourself so you can sync up more in alignment with others. So take good care. God bless. We'll see you soon.